I'm going to open 2 Dissension packs. This goes together with the other packs that I opened for Ravnica and Guild Pack. 1 for Ravnica and 2 for Guild Pack. Okay, so here's the first pack. And here's the second pack. Let me get the camera good position. So I'm going to go through the first pack. And as always, I never really see the card until I show it on the video. So I'll be just as surprised as you are by whatever uncommons and the rare that I pick out. Stealing Stance, a nice common Simic Growth Chamber. Always comes in tap, so I guess these are the old guild gates. Aquastrand Spider, Macabre Waltz, Silkwing Scout, which I already have, Assault Cephalid, which I already have. I almost have all the commons by now. Street Savvy, Azorius First Wing, Rite of Passage, Vesper Gal, why we're not doing so well with the, oh, there we go. Yeah, there we go. I'll have to do a little rewind. It looks like the autofocus wasn't working too well. Coiling Oracle, and that was a common. Jagged Puppet, uncommon. Plax Manta, uncommon. Mistral Charger, another uncommon. And then the rare is the Rakdos Pit Dragon. I haven't heard of this card before. I don't think it's a super popular rare. Simic Ragworm, another Stealing Stance, Wrecking Ball, Sandstormed Eidolon, Slaughterhouse Bouncer, a Rakdos Carnarium, which is another one of the old guild gates, Vision Skines, Coiling Oracle, Whiptail Moloch, Thrive, Hazda Exonerator, first uncommon, Simic Basilic. Of course, anything Simic is blue-green. Rakdos Guildmage, uncommon. Nat Alley Creeper, uncommon. And the rare is a Sprouting Phytohydra with Defender at 0-2. That's surprising for that to be a rare card. Whenever Sprouting Phytohydra is dealt damage, you may put a token into play that's a copy of Sprouting Phytohydra. So whenever it is dealt damage, but it's 0-2, it'd have to be early in the game, but it's a 5-drop. Reads like a junk rare to me. Then Rakdos Pit Dragon, for two reds it gains flying until end of turn. That's not too bad. And for 1 it gets +1/+0 until end of turn. So you can make it into an aggro card. It's already 4/3/3. That's not too great. I mean, if it had been a 4/4/4. So these two are reading more like almost like saviors cards. Mistral Charger has flying, a 2/2/1. Nat Alley Creeper can't be blocked by creatures without flying, and it's a 3/3/1 aggro, but Doesn't strike me as a highly playable card either. Plax Manta, 2-drop 2/2. That's clean. You may play Plax Manta anytime you could play an instant. That's really useful. I think that's called haste. These days, when Plax Manta comes into play, creatures you control can't be the target of spells or abilities this turn. And I think that's kind of like hexproof for everybody. And it's got a green ability, which means that it's really a Simic card. When it comes into play, sacrifice it unless green mana was spent to play it. That's a limitation, but it is a 2/2. I could see myself playing this card. Ragdos Guildmage, of course I could see playing. The Guildmages in both the old Ravnica and the new Ravnica are very playable. They usually have multiple abilities, and in this case, this Ragdos Guildmage is a hybrid, which means that you can either play 2 black, 2 red, or black-red to play this thing. So for 4 mana with a black, discard a card, target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. A little heavy, but I'm sure it could be useful. For another 4 but with a red, put a 2/1 red goblin creature token with haste into play. Remove it from the game at the end of turn. That's not too bad, because then if you do that, you paid 4 + 2, you played 6, and you're hitting for 4/3. It's alright. It's not fantastic. Jagged Puppet, it's a 3 mana Rakdos creature. Whenever Jagged Puppet is dealt damage, discard that many cards. That doesn't seem that great. That doesn't seem that great. You're probably better off playing with an empty hand when you play this card. Simic Basilisk has got Graft 3. This creature comes into play with 3 +1/+1 counters on it. Make sure I get the little autofocus thingy to do its thing. There we go. This creature comes into play with 3 +1/+1 counters on it. Whenever another creature comes into play, you may move a +1/+1 counter from this creature onto it. And it's got 3, so it's got 3 of those counters, but it's a 6-drop. Yeah, I don't know. That looks a little heavy to me. Coiling Oracle. When Coiling Oracle comes into play, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land card, put it into play. Otherwise, put that card into your hand. That's a good way to get land cards. It's a Simic card, green-blue, and it's a 2/1/1. Yeah, I see that as being a useful comment. Hazda Exonerator. Sacrifice Hazda Exonerator. Destroy target aura. 1/1/1. That's pretty good, because some of those auras can be really pesky. Can really slow you down or make you lose a lot of life. Vesper Gal. Pay 1 life, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. That's very much like Underworld Connections, which I'm playing right now online from Return to Ravnica. Except that card is just enchants a land. This is a creature at a 3/1/1. That's reasonable. Thrive is an X green. Put a +1/+1 counter on each of X target creatures. So it's like giving all your creatures Exalted if you have that much mana to give it to them. That's reasonable. Rite of Passage. Whenever enchanted creature attacks, if its power is 2 or less, it's unblockable this turn, and it's an enchantment aura. And it's got Forecast. So for 1 blue, reveal this card from your hand, and target creature with power 2 or less is unblockable this turn. Play this ability only during your upkeep and only once each turn. So that's what Forecast stands for. Sounds like an Azorius ability to me. Whiptail Moloch. When Whiptail Moloch comes into play, it deals 3 damage to target creature you control, and it's a 5/6/3. That's not too bad. Still a 5 in a red deck. That's a pretty big creature for red. Azorius First Wing, hence the name, Azorius card. 2/2/2 first. It's got flying, protection from enchantments. Nice card. Coiling Oracle, we already talked about. Vision Schemes or Skeins. Each player draws 2 cards for a 2. That can hurt you because you're actually helping your opponent draw cards. Here's one of the Rakdos cards. Street Savvy is an enchantment aura. Creature gets +2/+0 and can block creatures with landwalk abilities as though they didn't have those abilities. Slaughterhouse Bouncer. When it's put into a graveyard from play, if you have no cards in hand, target creature gets -3/-3. That's really good, especially if you were playing this in a Rakdos deck, where you're going to be playing every single card that you can. At least that's what happens to me when I play Rakdos these days. And it's a 5/3/3. Definitely a common ability card. Assault Sebla is a 4/3/3. Flying with Trample. Very useful Trample ability. And it's a Simic card. Silkwing Scout. It's a creature 3/2/1 Simic. Man, I'm scoring a lot of Simic in here. Of course, that's one of the guilds in Dissension. Sacrifice this card, search your library for a basic land card, and put that card into play tapped, then shuffle your library. This is very similar to Dawnstreeter Elk. I forgot the name. I think it's in Innistrad, where you sacrifice it and you get a land. In this case, of course, it's got blue and green coloring in the card. Sandstorm Eidolon is a 4/2/2. That's a bit slow for a red card. You sacrifice it and target creature cannot block this turn. Whenever you play a multicolored spell, you may return this card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, that I see as a benefit. If you're playing, say, like Rakdos, and you got a bunch of multicolor, you're going to be able to get this thing back to your hand for free every time you play something like this next card, right? Whenever you play a multicolored spell. So a spell can be any creature or non-creature spell, and this instant, Wrecking Ball, as a 4-drop, would be a non-creature spell. Destroy target creature or land. Nice. Not any land destruction is always welcome, in my opinion. Macabre Waltz. Sorcery. Return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand, then discard a card. That could be useful, especially in a zombie deck. Aquastrand Spider has got Graph 2, the way you can change the counters, and it's got a green ability, and it puts counters. Starts as a 0/0. Another one of the gates. Then Stealing Stance, which is a 4-drop instant with also another white ability. You reveal it. It's got Forecast. And Simic Ragworm. You can untap it for blue, so it's definitely a Simic card.